What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. We're going to be getting into Daredevil Reborn Episode 3 today. But before we get into all that, I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing. I hope that today we can earn your subscription. And if so, you hit that red subscribe bar down below. But without further ado, let's get into Daredevil Episode 3. The hollow of his hand. Now, this episode concentrates a lot on the trial of Hector, Ayala, the White Tiger, and we also get some interactions with the Kingpin and Vanessa and what's going on with that aspect of the story. But, and of course, if you have yet to see the episode, be aware that there is going to be a major spoiler being discussed for the episode today. But, yeah, we pick up after that fight that Matt had with the two cops from episode 2 while trying to find the witness that can help corroborate the White Tiger's story about what happened that night on the subway platform. That he was actually trying to save him instead of causing a problem with two cops and often one. And Cherry, the private investigator that helps Matt, did have him aside somewhere, wound up finding him and meeting up with him and, stashing him in a safe house somewhere. We also see a conversation with Matt and the White Tiger. There's some references to Spider-Man, but Hector explains how there were these basically singing tree frogs in Puerto Rico that a lot of the locals liked because instead of croaking, they would do this type of singing to allure mates and stuff, and just to, that just part of their everyday routine type of thing. And it was just kind of a recollection of a time that was once considered a better time, reminiscing about his family, missing out on times that he could have been making, memories that he could have been making while being the White Tiger, and kind of feeling that it was his responsibility to be that, as opposed to him seeking it out. It's sort him out, and that no matter what may come of this trial and what may become of his future, he doesn't regret getting involved in that life as White Tiger. And Matt kind of, in his own way, seems to miss being Daredevil as well. That sense of accomplishment, that sense of doing something better than just for yourself, And Officer Powell, one of the cops from the beaten, is still alive, and him and Matt have a conversation in the courthouse bathroom also, and winds up somehow making that witness that Cherry had go against Matt basically on stand, and kind of screwing up the case a little bit, because it started, casting doubt on Hector's real story. But at one point in, at one point in the trial, Matt does expose Hector as the White Tiger, and the reason why he did that was to prove that Hector's past actions were to help people, But what he did now was expose Hector and his family for retaliation from this Punisher cop group that seems to really have taken the Punisher's actions way past anything and taking it upon their own and using it as an excuse to cause mayhem and chaos in the streets as corrupt cops. And that wasn't anything that Punisher or Frank Castle was trying to condone. So I think that's going to be part of the reason how Frank comes back into the series to stop these cops from using his name or his likeness as their own when his mission is way different than their mission. So I think that's how Frank is going to wind up coming in. But yeah, Matt kind of told him he has to stop being White Tiger now because he's going to be targeted. But was targeted as soon as he mentioned that Hector was White Tiger, in my opinion. It didn't matter if Hector stopped being the White Tiger or not. These cops were going to search him out and get to him depending on how this trial continued. And believe it or not, Hector wound up being found not guilty and released. And those Punisher cops did not like that at all. And that will come back around later on in the episode. I also want to talk about the Kingpin and Vanessa. Vanessa had attempted to hijack some sort of shipment, which wound up failing, and that was brought to Mayor Fisk's attention that there was some sort of altercation leading to a big mess in Red Hook, I believe. And Vanessa is trying to not show her connection to this because at the end of the day, Wilson wants Vanessa to be part of the image he's portraying for the mayor's office, but Vanessa wants to continue running the business the way she's been running it, and she doesn't want to be involved in the politics. She actually enjoys, being the queen pin, so to speak, right? And so that's going to be, it looks like, a sticking factor of why this marriage or this relationship may have a spiral out or crash out at the end of this season, perhaps. Or it may lead into something that we may not even be realizing until it's happening. So to see Vanessa and Wilson kind of be at opposing sides at the moment is pretty surprising, considering that you'd think that Wilson would be the one drawing Vanessa into being, doing bad stuff and everything, where Wilson is trying to, stay as clean as possible. And yeah, so something's going to wind up happening. There's going to obviously be a break. Whether it's just them breaking up or, excuse me, something happening to her, that's going to be depending on how Wilson reacts. But, yeah, it's interesting to see them kind of on opposing sides in a way currently. And I wonder if the marriage counseling is going to help at all, and so that's kind of where that is at the moment in the story. And in the background here and there in this episode, we see a lot of murals made by the Muse, who is going to be the villain that's going to be taking over the main villain role for the upcoming episodes. And from the comic books, this character is a pretty twisted character. I don't know if they're going to necessarily be able to do the things that he did in the comic books and do them on the show. But, yeah, this guy, the Muse, uses people's body parts to make furniture, so that kind of lets you know where his mindset is at in the grander scheme of things. Bullseye just is looking to take out his target. Matt was the first time he made it personal, and Muse just seems to be on a whole nother level of psychopath. So it's going to be interesting to see their interaction between Matt / Daredevil and the Muse when that eventually happens, because the kid that asked Matt's girlfriend, so to speak, the psychiatrist, for help, I wonder if the Muse is going to make her one of his victims and making Matt perhaps do something he doesn't want to do. And excuse me, be an interesting thing to wind up seeing if Matt's going to go down the path of violence again and trying to take out the Muse, or, just beat him enough to bring him to jail. Is Matt going to take ultimate revenge depending on what the Muse does? I guess all these answers will be brought to us soon enough, right? And the last thing I want to talk about is R.I.P. to the White Tiger, because as the White Tiger made his way out to the streets again as the White Tiger, we're supposed to be led to believe that's Frank Castle, but we see someone with a Punisher logo on, like a bulletproof vest, and he takes out the White Tiger, kills him, and we're supposed to be led to believe that's the Punisher, but it's more likely one of these Punisher cop group members instead. And like I said, I think that's when Frank is going to come back to New York and kind of make it known that he's not the Punisher that's being exposed as a killer. He's a killer for sure, Frank Castle, but he's not doing these Punisher killings. And so that's going to cause even more chaos in the streets. And that's what the Kingpin is looking for. He's looking for chaos in the streets so then he can swoop in and clean it up and keep advancing his plan. So all these things seem to be coming into play. All these moving parts seem to be coming closer and closer together. Episode 4, I believe, is going to be pretty interesting. Let me know down below what you guys think of this episode. What are you thinking of the show? Is it everything that you're hoping for? Is there any downfalls? I think that the writing has been pretty decent. I think that the fighting's been pretty good. I'm giving this show a solid 7 so far, with everything. But again, you guys let me know down below what you're thinking of Daredevil Reborn.